Hi, I'm Sandra Ann Miller, and I'm about to tell you why. You may not realize what a common name Sandra Miller is. I was first introduced to that anomaly when I was 19 and went to see my gynecologist. You've lost weight, the nurse said as I stepped off the scale. Maybe 5 pounds, I replied, somewhat confused. She examined the chart further, asked for my birth date, and came back with the correct file. Then there was the Sandra Miller who kept canceling my appointments when the dental office called her instead of me. My birth date was invoked when future appointments were made. I cannot tell you how strange it is to walk into a shop on Abbot Kinney and be surrounded by your name, Sandra Miller, Sandra Miller, Sandra Miller. It seems there was an artist named Sandra Miller who also lived in Venice, California. She made frames and did nice work. I always thought my name was kind of bland and boring. The only thing that could make it any waspier was to marry a Jones and hyphenate. But it was my name. Sandra or Sandra didn't matter how you pronounced it, as long as you didn't call me Sandy. That's an adjective, and who the fuck likes being Sandy? If you need to shorten those two syllables to one, call me Sam. That was the compromise. My father wanted to name me Samantha and call me Sam. My mother planned to name me Patricia after Nixon, or April, as in the month I was born. I'll never understand either of her choices, but I don't really understand her. Anyway, I had a cousin named Trisha, so the Nixon option was nixed, and I think it's a law that Aprils have to be blonde, so the initials came into play. Not sure how Sandra not sure how Sandra won, but Ann was my mother's middle name, and the last name came with my father. One day in the late 90s, I came home to my duplex in Venice, California to find a lien notice from the IRS. I went into a panic. Wouldn't you? I know I paid my taxes, right? My CPA should have paid my taxes. I was working freelance then and living paycheck to it's in the mail paycheck. I was terrified that those feds had made a mistake and a lien meant money would soon disappear from my accounts. I was in my late 20s, still young enough to be easily spooked by one of the scariest entities known to man. I called the IRS, gave them my birth date and social security. I gave them my birth date and social security number, and they quickly resolved the matter. It seems that other Sandra Miller in Venice, California, hadn't paid her taxes for a while. Why couldn't you tell this Sandra Miller from this address had paid her taxes? I asked the nice agent on the line. I could hear her shrug through the connection. We just try everyone, she said, then offered, since you both live in the same city, maybe go by your full name from now on. And that's how Sandra Ann Miller was born.